We're going to shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about your work with me.
Okay.
For
What are we doing?
What's that?
What are we doing?
I don't know. We're doing something. So for those who are watching this and don't know, I've been working on a documentary over the last 6 months. Been collaborating with Kevin recently in recent weeks. I would say we started really talking about it back in May, or was it April?
Probably May, I think.
So a lot of films, I would say, have what, like 60 minutes or more worth of score. Is that a fair thing to say about for
Sure.
movies?
Yeah.
What you and I have been working on is decidedly less than that. But
Right.
if I'm asking you questions, stepping outside of myself, outside of the zone of what I already know,
Yeah.
this is hard to do, but I'm going to do it. What kind of a challenge, if any, has it been to write so much less music, but have to capture so much of
Right.
the mood of the film?
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good question.
Thank you. I tried.
So yeah, I like what I'm used to doing is just scoring scenes, So I'm used to like scoring from the very beginning of something and scoring all the way to the very end. But I also do a lot of video game music, which is completely different. Video game music is like, okay, you have this level and you're going to fight a boss, and there's an ambient part, and then there's kind of a mid-level where it's like maybe you'll fight some people, but it's not as intense as a boss. And it's volcanic, it's really rocky, and there's a lot of lava. Or it's open air, it's very sparse. So all those things give you an idea of like how to score it and what to do. So same thing though, actually, with your documentaries, I'm kind of thinking in it like a video game. It's like, what are the levels? So we've got like a humorous level. Things are lighter on screen. There's maybe some more banter. There's some funny stories being told. We've got more of just a general kind of talking about the nuts and bolts of the show, and maybe a little more gravitas, a little more serious, a little more Batman-y, a little more cinematic. And then we've got like the opening, which is very cinematic, very like let's give it a theme. Let's really give it that full Batman treatment.
Tragedy strikes. How does he react?
The only way he could deal was to transform himself into this alternative figure.
Batman has always been a fascination to me because of the serious origins.
So far, those are kind of the elements that I've been working on. And I think as we go along and as you're in post, we'll be figuring out some more of those sort of levels, and like, what are we kind of missing here, and what do we need to sort of cover?
Ambiance scoring.
Ambiance. Yeah, it's like what's interesting about documentaries, and I haven't done a ton of documentaries, but the music is there to just help support things kind of moving forward and help support all that dialogue. There's so much dialogue in documentaries, so it's a lot, and it's just helping sort of bridge all those moments. It's not really, there's no action sequences unless you're showing little clips. There's not like huge drama. So the music generally can just be a little softer, less intense, but also keep things moving forward. So those are the things that I've been, thinking about, besides obviously when we had creative conversations and ideas that you had for music.
As I'm working with the music that you've created and I'm deciding how to properly apply it to the film, I often think, okay, well, if I was writing this song, how much freedom would I really feel like I have in creating a melody? Because a melody can be distracting, but at the same time, you don't want there to be no melody, right? So there's like, that's a weird kind of nebulous zone, right?
So yeah, it's interesting you bring that up because I did think about melody, and so the pieces I've written thus far have moments where it builds into melodic sections, and then there are some builds and some comes up, comes down. There's moments of melody, and then there's moments where it's not. And then we've also discussed about having alternate mixes and taking these main big themes and then breaking them down into smaller sub themes or alternate mixes. And so like you could just have things percolate and just have percussion that's just kind of percolating along underneath at certain times. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities.
Well, that's part of what I've always appreciated about what you do as a composer in general. Is I think your percussion builds are some of the best out there.
No, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So like that's the stuff. I think I first noticed that in Invader Zim. You have a lot of that stuff in Zim.
A lot of percussion in Invader Zim.
A lot of percussion. Yeah, a lot of not like a march, but like there's like a real concern in the audience.
Yeah, that's cool.